Well, ladies and gents, how are we all? Are we okay? Good. So, this is an interesting video. Gal Gadot's Cleopatra pick at Paramount is now getting Falcon and the Winter Soldier individual on board to direct. Because Patty Jenkins is moving more forward with Rogue Squadron and as a producing role. Interesting. Really interesting. This is an exclusive to Deadline. So, yeah. Quite a surprise, quite frankly. Not something I don't think anyone was really expecting this to come out as sort of noteworthy news. But it is noteworthy. It's interesting to plot the careers of some people. And obviously the Rogue Squadron was a massive movie that was, promoted and was one of these things that it was a big thing. People were really, really amped for it. Or at the very least, Disney were really amped for it. They made a big song and dance about it. So let's have a look. So the exclusive is, following the massive success of directing Marvel series The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Carrie Scogland looks to have found her next film project and will be teaming up with another superhero star in the process. Sources tell Deadline that Scogland is set to direct Paramount's Cleopatra, starring Gal Gadot. Scogland steps in for Patty Jenkins, who was attached to direct, and just randomly bows out. So she's attached to direct, but now she's pivoting to the producing role. So she's still on board, and I'll bet you anything, because Carrie Scogland is not huge in the industry, not a wealth of experience. I would imagine Patty Jenkins will be quite hands-on as a producer. Because I can't imagine Gal Gadot's going to want to stay on board otherwise. I'd be surprised if that's the case. I could be wrong, but yeah. Now Scogland steps in for Patty Jenkins, who was attached to direct and is pivoting to a producing role because Jenkins fell off as a director so she could focus on her next two projects, Wonder Woman 3 and Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I'm looking awfully white up in here. Let me fix some of that contrast for all of you so no one gets offended by my whiteness. You can all look at my baby blues instead. Right, anyway, so that is actually interesting. It flies in the face of what a lot of people have been saying. Even I myself did a video on it, and hence why it's good to do a correction piece such as this, is that Patty Jenkins is still on board for Rogue Squadron. That is a surprise. Now, this is unconfirmed at this point in time. This is just an exclusive to Deadline. They're saying this is the case. They're pretty on the money, though. But it's interesting because this does seem to be somewhat reactionary from Disney's side of things. Like, they obviously had the reports come out, kind of leaked, and people were really concerned by all of this. And then boom, they're like, yeah, no worries. She's actually back on board. I reckon they would have gone back to the drawing board on contracts. Are going to be a contractual basis. Because there was seemingly a report going around that because, of course, Patty Jenkins was using her father as inspiration for this show, and there were some reports that it seemed to indicate that was sort of a creative difference clash. But now she's back on board anyway. So to me, it reeks of them getting back to the drawing board, contracts being ironed out, maybe creative differences being ironed out, but usually when creative differences are flagged up as a situation which causes people to even exit a project temporarily, like Patty Jenkins seems to have done here, normally that's something which you can't get round, and they leak because that's just all but confirmation that people had heard arguments and things like that. Quite unprofessional levels of behaviour. So surprising stuff, I think. Paramount won the rights to the Hot Package last fall to the biographical drama scripted by later Kalogridis. The film will be produced by Atlas Entertainment's Charles Roven. Jenkins, Gadot, and her Pilot Wave Motion Pictures partner Jaron Varsano. Kalogridis will be the executive producer. But I bet you anything, Patty Jenkins will be on board on an almost day-to-day basis, you know, or at the very least reviewing dailies and taking a look, and maybe even shooting a few scenes so this individual can, you know, fall. I bet you anything. It's just one of those things I get a sense of. You know, Gal Gadot famously really enjoys working with Patty Jenkins. She signed on pretty much specifically because of Patty Jenkins. I can't imagine that she's going to exit the project in any major capacity. Now they say here, you know, Cleopatra is the daughter of Ptolemy, ancestor. I think that's a silent P, isn't it? Ptolemy, the ancient ancestor of and leader of the Alexander the Great's army. When Rome's ruler Julius Caesar's mentor turned rival Pompey fled to Egypt after a brutal war for control of the empire. Egypt became a fixation of Roman rulers. Two siblings. This is where people be like, we was kings. Two siblings battled for the throne of Egypt. After winning that internal struggle by appealing personally to Caesar, Cleopatra had a complicated relationship with Rome, became the lover of Caesar and later Mark Antony. The latter alliance would become the undoing of both Antony and Cleopatra. This exposure is way off the charts. I'm really sorry. Anyway, so Skoglund had been eyeing several properties after directing every episode of Marvel's The Falcon and Winter Soldier. The scope of the series, which played like a Marvel tentpole, appealed to the executives for what they were aiming for with this film. And her first big break came as one of the key directors on the early seasons of Hulu's The Handmaid's Tale. And she's directed by WME, anonymous content, blah, 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 blah. But the real take-home from this is Patty Jenkins is still on board for... you know, Cleopatra in some capacity, but then primarily focusing on Rogue Squadron. Okay. But we heard that it was too busy for her. You know, she was going to leave, creative differences, all this kind of stuff came out. I would hazard a guess they've just gone back, rehashed out a deal, you know, sorted themselves out. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Am I excited for Cleopatra in general? No, not really. Am I excited for Rogue Squadron? Mildly, if that. It is surprising because a lot of people thought that she was done mainly because of people's reception to Wonder Woman 1984. The general response was not that great, lukewarm. And a lot of individuals thought that she was done as a result of that, but this all seems to fly in the face of that. So it is interesting, but nonetheless, hand on over to you. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching there, guys. Have a missed age. Take care.